Okay, here we are at the Sanctum Hotel here in London's West End.
The inner sanctum.
The inner sanctum. It gives me great pleasure to be in the company of Dan Reed.
That's right. Good to be here.
November 23rd, Dan Reed Network. Got a new album out, Origins. Tell us about the album, Dan, because it's an album with a different. It's called Origins.
Yeah.
4 new songs, 4 old songs.
Yes, and it's also the way we recorded it was very unique as well. So we thought if we could make a record with a live audience in the studio and record it in different studios around the world, it'd be a tremendous challenge, but it would also bring people that have been supporting us since day one.
Yeah.
Be able to come to the watch us record a new song and an old song. You know, kind of like thanks for being there for us since the beginning. Have them sing background vocals on some of our classic favorite songs.
They do a very good job too.
Oh yeah, they actually, you know, everybody's like, when we were posting about the dates, they were like, "Oh, I can't sing very good," and everybody was shy about it. But when they got in the studio, you'd be surprised like how everybody can just get into sync and sing harmonies even. So that was really wonderful. And then we kind of wanted to pay homage to our roots, where we came from, and where we're going as a band for the future. So we thought, let's make a record of half and half and call it Origins, and just to pay honor and tribute.
If you don't mind me saying, on paper it sounds like a horrible idea. 4 new songs, 4 old songs.
Yeah.
But I was playing the album this morning before I come out, you know, like the track list is 1 new song, 1 old song, 1 new song.
Right.
But it just seamlessly fits in together.
That's good to hear. Yeah.
You know, it really does roll.
We had no idea if that was going to work or not. We thought it's going to be dated, too modern, that kind of thing. But actually, a lot of that has to go to Rob.
Well, the amazing thing is, you know, they all sound like they come from the same time, you know.
Well, Rob Dacre's a brilliant producer, great engineer, mixed the hell out of these tracks, and the fact that it's the same band members playing everything now, I think we slowed down, like forgot to make our mind, made it a little more funkier. Ritual, we tried to modernize it a bit, add some more of the chants in, let it go as a completely different version. It's more of a positive song than a sad love song. And then Rainbow Child with all the audience singing the background vocals and playing it with acoustic guitars, just made it a little more organic. So
I think you've actually bettered that, the new version compared to the original. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's an honor.
But let's talk about the new songs, because I think they really do stand up. They're better than anything from the previous album.
Thank you.
I really do believe that.
I feel that way too.
Oh, good. So like Fade to Light, the first single, it's got like a gospel feel to it.
Yeah, you think? Well, the title was like, started off as a piece of music that Brian James sent me. It had no vocals on it. But then when I started working on the song, I added this organ chord changes to this pedal tone that Brian, this is musical terms, that Brian had sent me. And it just felt churchy. And then I was like, that's where the title came from too. It was like, oh, if we're gonna go to church, how do we say something negative and positive at the same time? So like fading into light as opposed to fading out. It's better to fade out than to burn out than to fade away. It's like, well, what if we fade to light instead of fading away? So I guess it could be considered a bit of a religious
all the lyrics, you know, do have a meaning to the lyrics.
Yeah.
I think was it Shameless?
Shameless, yeah.
Where you talk about being away from home.
Yeah. Well, there's something about, you know, what do they say, that fondness makes the heart, or absence makes the heart grow fonder. And I think Shameless is really about that. You know, time. My son's 6 years old. 2 weeks ago, I felt like he was born yesterday, and I know he's going to be out of the house before I blink an eye. And there's things about life that we just can't take for granted. And Shameless is about capturing that moment, holding on to it.
You know, 'cause people always believe that being a rock star is a glamorous life, but you're on the road all the time. You're away. You spend a hell of a lot of time away from home. In some ways, there isn't a home, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'd say about maybe 4% of this life is glamorous. That's the time on stage and saying hi to people after 4, which is a very small part of the week. The rest of the time is, and I think I've taken a different view on, especially doing press. Like, for example, in the old days, I always felt like it was this necessary evil. I'd rather be playing music than talking about it. These days, I feel like it's all part of the same picture of just social. Whether it's on Facebook, social media, or just being social to people in the world. And I enjoy every minute of it now. I enjoy the train travel and waiting at airports and just people watching. So I never get bored. Now I'm afraid I'm going to die in a plane crash. That's my big fear. I fly too much. The odds are against me.
You're touring the UK in November. We've even got an official album launch date here in London at 229 Club. Great little club, actually.
I've never been,
Oh yeah, it's a good little venue.
Cool.
So you're only doing the UK at the moment.
Yes.
As a proper tour.
Yeah.
You got a date in Berlin, I believe, on December
29th, and in Prague on the 31st. Yeah.
And that's where you live now, is it? I believe?
That's where I live. Yeah. So we thought, I mean, we just played in Sweden all throughout the summer here in July. That's another nice market that we love playing in. Germany we played in December, or late November last year. So we thought we would just focus on the UK for their album release. And then we'll probably come back. We might do something end of next year to kind of celebrate the 30-year anniversary of Slam.
Oh, yeah.
So, but just like 3 or 4 shows.
Make me feel old now.
Yeah, exactly. I meant 13 year
We'll talk about
anniversary.
those days in a minute, actually. But like you say, you live in Prague. Why did you settle on Prague as a home?
Well, before that I was in India for a year, Jerusalem for a few years, and then Paris for 2.5 years. And Prague was just a city that architecturally was fantastic. To me as a songwriter, to be in an environment that has that much history visually, and you can see the art that was put into the architecture back then, is very inspiring to me. I grew up in a country that's 200 years old, and there's not a lot of that there, you know. So Prague is fascinating to me for that purpose.
Yeah, so the architecture goes right back to the medieval times.
I know, it's like 600-700-year-old buildings, and I wanted to be an architect if I wasn't a musician. So that's why I fell in love with it. And then met a lovely woman named Katarzyna there, and we had a little boy, and so that's home now, at least till he's 18. If he wants to move to India after that, I'll follow him.
Also, your fans are loyal. You're doing this show New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
So I imagine there'll be some fans from the UK wanting to fly out there.
Yeah, there's probably
any
at least 300 people from the UK coming.
Wow.
Yeah. 100 from Sweden. Yeah, it's interesting.
Amazing.
Do that.
Let's talk about the early days. Let's talk about the British tour. Your first UK date here in England, I believe, was it 1988 at the Marquee Club?
Oh, you're talking about the very first show?
Yeah, the very
Marquee
first show.
Club. That was it. 1988.
Yeah, it was.
Were you there?
I wasn't.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't. I already had the album. I can't remember why I wasn't there. I think it was sold out. Perhaps could get it. But what's your memories of the Marquee Club in Wardour Street?
It was so mind-boggling to travel all halfway around the world and have people already excited about what we were doing when they hadn't really heard of us yet. They just heard maybe one single or heard about this rock funk thing that was developing in America with all these bands, and so they just wanted to come check it out. But the feedback we got after the first song all the way through the whole set was just off the chain. So we were like, wow, this is unbelievable. Very humbling. And then we went up to Stockholm a couple days later and played at a club up there called The Melody, and had the same reaction there. And that was the beginning of our whole career over here, was those 2 shows.
It's amazing, because the only reason I bought the first album, I bought the album without even hearing it.
Oh, wow.
There was a one-page interview in Kerrang magazine at the time. I noticed the album was produced by Bruce Fairbank.
Yeah, of
I was
course.
done Bon Jovi, and I thought, he's a big producer, so these guys must be good. I took a chance, So how did you get involved with Bruce Fairbank?
That was through Derek Shulman. Derek Shulman signed Bon Jovi to Polygram, signed us to Polygram. So he sent demos over to Bruce. And Bruce was really so sweet. He said, I went up to Canada to meet him, and he said that the biggest challenge for him was going to try to make the record better than the demos, because we spent a lot of time on our demos back then. And I think he did. I think he took it to the next level. Him and Mike Fraser engineering. So we've been. I was just asked earlier today about how does the records hold up for you as an artist? Can you even listen to them anymore? And I say, actually, I can. And I put that because of the quality control that people like Bruce Fairbairn and Al Rogers had when we were recording these records.
It's also, forget, it was actually a very new thing for the heavy rock field at the time, punk rock.
Yeah, it was. But to me, it wasn't for the network, but it was in the scene of the radio and MTV and all that. Whether you had Faith No More, Chili Peppers, Living Colour, Extreme, us. There was this like 7 or 8 bands that were from that era that were doing this thing. But before that was Mother Love Bone. Aerosmith was always a funk rock band to me.
We think even Deep Purple in the Stormbringer.
Yeah.
They're very funky.
Totally funk rock. Thin Lizzy has some moments like that. Even AC/DC has some funky rock songs that you would never think are funk rock, but to me they are.
Yeah, you dance to them. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Talking of the second album, Slam. Noel Rodgers.
Yeah.
Crazy, right? Yeah, exactly.
That was through, I think Niall, I can't even remember who introduced our music to Niall. It might have been some of the guys in Q Prime. But I don't really remember how that went down. He just loved the band, and I still talk to Niall from time to time. That's good.
Normally when Noel does produce a band, he normally offers one of his own songs, but he didn't record any of his songs. Did he offer you any?
No, he didn't, but he did suggest that I get together with these guys from The System, which was David and Mick. They wrote some really great kind of futuristic electronic soul songs. And we wrote Rock You All Night Long? Yeah, Rock You All Night Long. Off of Slam together.
Yeah, excellent.
So that was like
That's from the first album.
Oh yeah, actually that is.
Yeah.
But so that wasn't through Niall then. That's weird. I can't even remember how I met these people, and I didn't smoke pot back then either.
I'll say it was a long time ago. But I sort of remember the days very well. Like on Slam tour, you spoke with Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
When they were the biggest band in the world at the time. You know, New Jersey tour.
Yeah.
You were going down a storm. How did you cope with the pressure? You know, because you got all these adoring girls in the audience. You know, the audience weren't even packed out when you was on stage. You know. So.
Yeah. I don't know. How did I cope with it? I shaved my head.
Well, we're going to get to that in a minute. You know.
I don't know. I didn't cope with it well, to be honest with you. I kind of got lost.
So was it? It's a dream gig.
Yeah.
In some ways, it went against you.
For me personally, yeah, I just felt like I was seeing the music business from a level that I wasn't sure I wanted to be at. At the end of the day, I felt like it was really about corporatism, about merchandise, about branding. You know.
It's called a business.
Yeah, I know, but it was all about the music business part of it that was kind of tripping me out. I loved writing melodies and lyrics and chord progressions and recording in the studio, and loved being on stage. I adored that time period. But it was the whole thing of selling the band that was really hard for me. Going on a radio promotion tour, for example, to 20 cities in America over the course of a month.
Yeah.
A different city every day, a day off in between, a few days. And meeting program directors from radio stations that had no desire to meet with me, but they would do it because they wanted to get Bon Jovi tickets next week, or whatever. So they're doing the label a favor.
Yeah.
And there was those kind of moments that I felt like, God, I just want to be in my studio working on a song right now. That stuff wore on me. Photo shoots. Do this with your hair. Do this with your hair. You think you could do it with your shirt off in the sauna? Yeah. That kind of stuff. I was like, what does this have to do with you?
Oh, you know, the girls loved you back then.
Yeah.
I mean, I was jealous myself of your long hair went down to your backside, and I was like, you famously did shave it off, and it's been well talked about. But,
I look back on it and have regrets that I didn't appreciate that more. That I was kind of, my ego was out of control, and I just wanted to kind of crush the ego, as opposed to being proud of what we were doing.
What did the management say at the time?
They lost their freaking
Your ears
word.
must burn that day.
Yeah. That day was the worst day of my life.
Yeah.
It was Peter Mensch ripping me a new asshole over the phone, my accountant, our lawyer, our A&R guy. Derek Shulman was gone by then. He was running Atco Records by then. But yeah, our A&R guy, people at the label, my band members.
Right. So everybody basically.
Nobody knew I was going to do that. I shaved it the morning of making the Rainbow Child video.
Of course, it's in the Rainbow Child video. You got like a hat on.
Well, they made me wear that. They said if I didn't put something on my head, they wouldn't make the video.
So I hope it's going to grow back magically.
Yeah, exactly. So I wore this Valentino headscarf thing, and I was like, this is just as silly as having long hair. So, for me at the time, I thought that.
It's very it's strange really, because only 2 years later Grunge came out, and it was against looking like the rock star.
Yeah.
So
the hair got shorter.
You were ahead of your time,
the
really.
Grunge got up to here. Kurt Cobain, right? Still long, but not really.
Well, I was like, you supported Bon Jovi, and that led to supporting the Rolling Stones.
Yeah,
another massive gig.
6 months later.
Yeah, I saw you at Wembley Stadium. You know,
wow,
you filmed the Lover video.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
What's the Stones like? The greatest rock band.
I liked what I think remember the most from that tour was how Charlie Watts, for example, was such a gentleman and so humble after being, multi-millionaire and the biggest rock band in the history of rock and roll. Was still, he'd come back and wish us good luck before we'd go on stage, shake our hands. He had a sewing machine room near his dressing room. All the suits you see Charlie Watts wear, he makes those.
Wow.
So he's his own tailor. And he doesn't change his drum heads on his drums unless they break. And we asked him, we go, Charlie, we heard a rumor that you never change a drum head until it breaks. Because they had a big party one day that the crew was changing the snare drum head. And they had to change it for 12 years. A snare drum head for 12 years. Because he doesn't hit that hard.
Yeah.
And we were like, just why? You can afford all the drum heads in the world. And he goes, why would I change it when it's not broken? That to me was like a great lesson of like how to remain, humble in this business.
Yeah.
And then of course there was the opposite end of the spectrum with people like Mick Jagger and stuff. But they were cool too.
Did you get Mick much?
Yeah. Well, the first time I met Mick was after our first show. It was in Cardiff, I think. And his bodyguard guy came up and said, Mick wants to say hi to you before they go on. So went straight to his dressing room. There was nobody in there. His dressing room was probably as big as this room.
Yeah.
He was sitting over there where they're at. And I sat down here, and the bodyguard left. And I just sat here for a second in silence. It was just him and me. And he comes up and he goes, hey, I just want to say thanks for being on the tour. And I had heard you shaved your hair off. That was his first.
What gave you that idea?
Yeah, he goes, because he had hired the band before, because we did the Rainbow Child video 2 weeks before the tour. So he goes, I heard you shaved it off, and he goes, and he's looking me up and down, he goes, I don't think that'd look good on me, it works on you. That's what he said. And I was like, yeah, Mick approves.
Yeah, excellent. That was fabulous. Obviously, I think, was it 93 the Heat album come out? Years
91.
91, sorry, yeah, I think it's a couple of 93. No more Dane Reed. For many years, you went off, you become a club owner, this owner, and various projects, and you ended up in India.
A monk, trying to do the monk lifestyle.
What's that? Trying to find yourself?
Yeah, very much so. It was all about coming from the club world where I was, addicted to drugs and alcohol, and then losing my father to lymph node cancer, going clean and sober for a year before I went to India. And realizing that now is the time for me to get focused and see what it is I want to do. Do I want to open a bakery on the corner? Do I want to stay in some kind of creative field? I won't know until I have enough silence to figure that out. And I knew that going to Northern India would provide that. I didn't know I was going to get invited to live in
Did
a
you go
monastery.
to India looking for that, or was that just where you happened to end up?
No, well, I went to India in 1992, 11 years before that, to interview the Dalai Lama.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I fell in love with the Tibetan people. I fell in love with the lower Himalayan mountains and the culture there, the peace and quiet there, and I knew that that's where I wanted to go. I had no idea I was going to meet Tibetan monks that were going to take me under their wing.
And you lived in the monastery?
Yeah, for 11 months.
So did you spend times in solitude?
I did that. I did a 2-week Vipassana.
What's that like? I was like, for people
Well,
that know,
there's no books. There's a toilet in the room. They give you food through a slot in the door, and you put the tray back out when you're done. So there's no electronics. There's candles, and nothing to read. And so you just really, you're stuck with yourself in complete silence. And some people can do it for 4 or 5 days or a week. Some monks do it for decades. They go up in the mountains and live like that, and people bring them food and the whole same thing. 20, 30 years some of these guys do. But 2 weeks was fantastic. What it does is, when you come out of that isolation, you have such a deep appreciation for laughter, conversation, smiles from other people, being able to read, taking in information. You have a much deeper appreciation for all things that life has to offer when you preclude yourself from having any of it. And so that to me, I think was worth it, and I still carry that.
Before you do that, are you told by the other monks how to prepare for this isolation? Do they tell you how to go for the full process first?
No.
Or is it a natural process, it just comes naturally?
Yeah, they say that, there's going to be moments of complete insanity when you want to escape, and you're going to be really pissed off at yourself for doing this. You're going to have those moments of doubt, but just ride that out. Don't give in to it and bang on the door and want to get out. Just let it sit inside of you, because life is half suffering. It's joy, but it's also suffering, and without either one, you don't know what the other one is about. So I really, that was the only warning. Be prepared to have some very, very dark moments, but don't get into them.
I think the strong message of Buddhism is wit and wisdom.
Yeah, it's true. That's the rumor. That is the rumor.
That's a good way to live your life. And also, eventually, Dane Reed Network, obviously you did it in cyber career, but Dane Reed Network did reform 2012.
Yeah. Yes.
And Mike Cirilli did a gig over here in Chelmsford.
That's right. Yeah. Did you come out to that?
No. It's too far out of London,
Yeah.
That's London's not even London. The tube service doesn't go that far.
Dave Lynn came out and he said it took him like 2.5 hours to get out there.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I did eventually see I can't remember where it was now.
Maybe the Islington or something?
Possibly, yeah. I will go anywhere. I've seen it quite a few times since. But the reunion, what's it mean to you, the band being back together?
I guess there was a reason we got together in the first place, and that was to try to do something different musically than other bands had done, not try to follow anybody else's pattern or direction, and to really create music together and experiment. That was the whole goal in the beginning, and getting back together was originally about delivering something that people have been asking us to do for a couple decades, or 15, 16 years. So we said, let's go out and do a tour and make everybody happy that's been asking us to do this. Then we realized, wow, we really miss playing together. So let's try writing some songs together, see what happens. Then Frontiers came into the picture, and they wanted to put out the record. And so it was very organic. We never had a plan to come back and, really start our career up again. But it's been nothing but joy. We have a lot of laughter on the road, a lot of wonderful conversation.
I think the great thing about watching Dairy Don't Rock today, you do have a lot of fun actually on the stage.
Yeah, for sure.
I saw you this year at Stillfest
in
Wales with pouring down in rain.
Yeah. And then somebody said a rainbow came out when we were playing Rainbow Child. I was like, what?
But you was having such a good time.
Yeah, we're enjoying being kids again.
Yeah.
But my knees don't like it so much.
But you still got the moves.
Yeah.
You
So
do
far,
dance around
so
a
good.
lot.
We'll see.
Funk it up. So how do you keep yourself fit?
I don't do any exercise. It's mostly the show. I'm going to try to start getting to the gym again, just because these 2-hour-long shows are a little rougher. And when I'm doing 4 in a row, I feel like the middle of the third show, I'm getting worn down. And the fourth show, I was like, oh. And then I watch video of us, and I'm going, you're standing at the mic a lot, Dad. Just.
Well, it's like you're kung fu kicking half the time.
I'm not ready to wimp out yet.
Well, Dan's been fantastic talking to you. The album Origins is fantastic. It's out on November the 23rd. 4 new songs, 4 old songs. Flows perfectly. One great thing about this album, it's nice and short. I'm one of these people who wasn't playing at CDs or something.
Yeah. And there's a couple songs that are album track links, like the old days, like 6.5 minutes long.
Exactly.
And stuff like that.
Less is more. So see Dairy Network on tour in November.
With Mason Hill and Hollowstar too.
Yeah,
two
great new bands coming up, Dan, it's been a pleasure talking to you. All the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck. Cheers.